Hi guys, welcome back to the big sew along, where we have a lot to get through today because last week you may have noticed that I was not here. I had technical difficulties with some of my recording equipment, so hopefully that's all fixed and we don't have to deal with that anymore. But what we were going to talk about last week was what I'm wearing today, which is, get my chair out of the way here. You can't see it very well here, but it is the Dolores. I don't know if you would call this a tunic top or a slip dress or whatever. Anyway, that's what it is. Dolores and Daniella. I also made a Daniella. The Dolores that I'm wearing today, this is in a cotton shirting, like a little bit of a heavier shirting, but certainly not like a quilting cotton or anything like that. I was going to do a tutorial on how to fix the armhole on this because it seemed to be rather big. But as it turns out, in my experience, the way to solve that problem was to cut 2 sizes smaller than I normally cut. I originally cut this in a medium and it was just way too big. Like you can see in the pictures I'll put up here at some point that this fits me just fine. This is the extra small. So all I did was go down from the medium to the extra small. And then I did raise the underarm just in this portion right here, just in the center part of the side panel. I raised that 1 inch and you can see that's pretty close. I could have gotten away with doing just a 1/2 inch. I'm actually really happy with the way this is. So I'm glad I did it, but it doesn't necessarily have to come up a whole inch, just FYI. I also did not, this is supposed to have just like a straight panel that goes across the front and across the back. I didn't do that. I cut my panel on the bias and I did a ruffle and I did it the way Tina does, which is just sort of pleating it on to the bottom as you go. And you can see I have washed this since, and I really love the way this fabric frays in the bias. So I'm really happy with that. The side panels in this are a really pretty lightweight cotton sateen. And I think that's really all I have to say about the Dolores. I put a little side slit in the side of mine just because it came out a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. And I really would normally wear this with like another slip underneath it. And I wanted it to show someplace. I don't have that on today because it's actually too short for this. It doesn't even show in the slits. But the slits on the side were fine. I can show you a close-up of that. You can maybe see it in the pictures. I don't know. I think you probably can't. But I just made a slit right in the center of that panel. And I put a bias binding all the way around it. That was it. So not really a lot of alterations to this. I literally made, in terms of fit anyway, I made 2 sizes smaller than I normally do. And I did raise the underarm a little bit. Now in the Daniella pant, I did the same thing. I didn't make any alterations. I just cut a side, 1 size smaller than I normally wear. So I would normally cut a medium. In the Daniella pant, I just cut a small. However, of course, I forgot to shorten it before I put it together. So, as usual, I had to cut off 1.5 inches from the bottom, which made the bottom shape a little bit different, which is totally fine. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is like there's a side panel. There are 2 side panels, one top panel and one bottom panel, and they kind of come together at an angle. So my bottom panel is actually shorter than it should be, which means that point is also a little bit lower than it should be. But all in all, it's fine. Again, I used the same cotton sateen for these pants that I used for the side panel of my Dolores. And it looks like, in the pictures of Daniella, it looks like they use a crisper fabric, so I thought that would be okay. I've seen a bunch of these online, and people seem to really like it. I don't really like it. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite Tina pant. So I don't know that I'll make it again. I might like it better in linen because I like everything better in linen. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just not crazy about it. I mean, I know it's supposed to be a really voluminous pant, and I've made tons of plinkas, and I've made the Zelda, and I've made the Oprah, and I've made the Elope. I mean, all of those are pretty generous pants. I'm not crazy about this one. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, probably. So that was supposed to be last week's video. In between then and now, I made a group of things. I made a Gigi top. I made a Jaqueline slip, and I made a pair of Elope pants. And I got these 3 fabrics together, and I really liked them together. I still really like the fabrics together. I'll show you some pictures here. The top, the Gigi, I made in a polyester double organza. So it's got a lot of body. I don't generally like polyester, not for any other reason. This is actually a beautiful fabric. There's nothing wrong with it being polyester. My problem with polyester is that I just get really hot all the time. And polyester just makes that worse. So I don't use it a lot. But I couldn't resist this fabric because it is so beautiful. I got this at Haberman Fabrics. In fact, the fabrics that I got for my Daniella and my Dolores, I also got at Haberman's. But all the fabrics that I'm going to talk about in this next group are also from Haberman's. This polyester double organza is just like, it's just beautiful. And I really, really loved it. I still really love it. I love this top. I think the Gigi, which is actually part of, I don't have a picture of it from the website for you, but it's from the Seychelles magazine, and I want to say it's either number 5 or number 6. I can't remember right now. But this is the pattern. It's the rose pattern and also the Gigi pattern. They use the same pattern for both. So that's what it is. It's a pattern that I used. You guys will probably remember earlier in the summer. I made it out of a rayon voile, or yeah, something like that. And I used a red silk georgette for the ruffles. Anyways, I didn't do any other alterations to this pattern. I think if we look back at that video about it the first time, I think I took it in at the center front. I think I lopped off like an inch because it's wide. But I didn't do anything else to it. This time I just cut it as I had cut it last time. The only other thing I did was I made my ruffles for the cuffs, and I did put a ruffle on the side this time, which you can see in the picture here. I cut all of those ruffles on the bias and just left them raw. I really love this top. I love the way it came out. I think it's beautiful. I love having it on. My issue is not with the top. It's also not with the slip, and it's not with the pants. It's just that I don't think I like them together. And I thought I was really going to like them together. I don't know what it is. So the slip I did is the Jaqueline slip. I did this also in a really lightweight, not really, I mean, a light shirting weight. It does have a little bit of stretch to it, which gives it a little bit of weight. But that lycra in there gives it a little bit of heaviness, a little bit of weight. So stick with that. I've made the Jaqueline a number of times, and I really like it. I love the way it fits. I think this is a cute slip. I think that the problem is that this Jaqueline, the fabric I picked for this is red, which is fine. It goes with both the top and the pants. I think maybe it's just too much red. So I don't know, you guys. I'm thinking about cutting my Jaqueline shorter. I don't know. Or maybe I just leave it and wear it with other stuff. So, opinions? Anyone? Be happy to know. I didn't make any alterations to my Jaqueline. I don't think. Let me think about that. I'm pretty sure I didn't. I've made this a few times before, and I may have altered the pattern originally, but I didn't do anything different to it this time than I did originally. And as usual, that was an older pattern, so if I did alter it, it's been a long time, and I don't know what I did. Check your armholes, check your neck hole. The pants are the Elope pants. This is the second time I've made these. Can't remember what I made these in the first time. It was only about a month ago or something. But anyways, I love these pants. I made these in a red plaid challis, and I think they are so cute. I don't even know what else to say. I didn't change anything to these pants that I didn't change the first time around. Anyways, I love them. I think they came out really cute. And I will wear them a ton. I've already worn them twice, and I only made them last week, so those are going to be good to go. And I will wear my Jaqueline too. I just think I'll probably have to find something else to wear it with, and the Gigi as well. Like, I'll wear that a lot. No, I won't wear it a lot because it's polyester and it's going to be hot, but I'll wear it for something really, like for something where I want to dress up a little more, which is, you know, almost never in my life. Even before the pandemic, it was almost never. But anyway, I will wear it. I really love it. But the pants I'm going to wear all the time. On to a non-Tina Givens make, and that was my Capitola pants. You will probably remember that I was talking about these for weeks because they've been cut out and ready to go for a long time. I made these in a cotton linen blend. This is fabric from my stash, and I honestly don't know where I got it. It's been there for a long time. I do know that it's a cotton linen blend. It's like a lighter weight. It's a lighter weight. I think the reason I was kind of reluctant to make these, actually, once I had them cut out, is because by the time I got them cut out, I had already started thinking about fall. And I feel like these are more springish pants, although maybe not. I mean, I could still wear them in the fall and winter. Just this fabric, the polka dots and stuff made me think more of spring. Anyways, I cut a straight size medium. I did no alterations to this pattern, except there's a little place at the front where you can make a pleat, and they give you markings for the pleat and then say, you know, you can alter it depending on what your size, how much you need to take it in more, take it in less, whatever. I originally had the full pleat in there, and then I let it out maybe half an inch. So it's a little bit smaller pleat than the original pattern is. There's also like, I think there are also 2 or 3 different hem options. I actually, when I printed this pattern out, the hem, of course, the hem facing panels didn't print out all the way, or didn't print out properly. I didn't realize it until I was putting it together. I just put like a straight facing on my hem and was done with it. I will probably make these pants again, and I'll probably use one of the other options because I thought they were really cute. I also think I would probably make these pants a little bit shorter. You can see in these pictures that I actually rolled them up because it does have a wide facing underneath, so it looks cute rolled up, I think. But I would prefer to not roll them up and just have them be like 2 inches shorter. So that's just where I would like it. But, you know, they're cute. And they fit nicely, and they're easy, and they don't have a side seam, so they're good for fabrics that have like a some sort of a design, like a plaid or a stripe or something like that. It's easier to make them without the side seam, obviously, because you don't have to match anything. There, anyway. Okay, now on to this week. What I've been working on for the last few days is a Gina. Another Tina Givens pattern. This is the Gina shirt. This is another pattern that I've had for a really long time, but I have not made. So on this pattern, I cut the straight medium. And the only other real alterations I did was I did bind my hem and my slit up the front. I like the way it looks, but I think if I make this again, I might just do that, leave that all raw. I kind of like the way it looks in linen when it's raw. But anyways, that's just a design element. You can do it either way. There's a little side ruffle that you put on here. It's about like this, and it might be about 5 or 6 inches deep. I felt like that was too long, especially because I didn't shorten this top. Not that I needed to. I feel like the length was fine. But that was so long. It just seemed like it was too long for my proportions. So I actually cut the depth of that in half. It's only about, I think mine's about 3 inches deep. I left the width as it was. But this way, it's half of whatever the pattern was. Now, I did have an issue. First of all, let me just say the neckline on this was really good. It wasn't too small or too big or anything like that. However, my problem is with the collar, and I think I've had this problem on a number of patterns, and this is not something I've had a problem on just with Tina Gibbons patterns. I've had it on a problem. This has been a problem on other patterns as well. The collar just simply does not fit this pattern. Okay, so here's our Gia. Center front, obviously you can see that. I don't know if you can see this in the picture, but there's a crease there for the center front. And there's also a crease right here at the center back. So on my collar piece, I am going to pin one edge just right here at the front collar. I'm just going to pin this to my shirt, and then I'm going to turn this around. This is the collar piece you get in the pattern, and I am going to attempt to pin this center back of my collar, which is the notch there, with the center back of my shirt. And you're gonna see, I can even, it's hard even to pin it, that this, let's see if I can move this up so you can see. We have a lot of bunching right here. That clearly is not gonna sit there. So what I am going to attempt to do is do some clipping and see if that helps. We're just gonna clip all the way around the corner here. Sorry, around the curve. Okay, even with that, this just is not, this color is not, and I haven't even gotten to this side yet. This center back needs to be on the straight grain. So this line here needs to line up with this. I mean, there's just no way this collar is gonna fit on this shirt, in my opinion. Okay, so we're gonna ditch this collar and see if we can't figure out our own. So, I did a little research and I drafted my own pattern. And I'm going to show you really quickly here how I did that. For this collar, it is super simple. You don't have to love drafting patterns, and it doesn't even have to take you very much time. I'm going to say, like, it probably took me, I don't know, 15 minutes to get the pattern together. And at the end of the day, I'm really, really happy with the result. I'll show you a couple of pictures here as we go along. Like I said, I made this in linen. I had some of this gray linen left over, and I used that for my collar, for some trim on my pocket, for my bindings. And at the moment, the cuffs on my Gina are raw. Oh yeah, I did add 2 inches to the sleeves, you guys, because they were, and I'm not tall. I'm 5'3", and I added 2 inches to the length of the sleeves, which means that I cut it the width of my fabric. So the edge of my sleeves is the selvage, which I was going to keep. And then I remembered that I have a pattern, like a discontinued pattern from Diane Ericson called Cuffs. If I can find it here, I'll show it to you guys. Anyways, I got that off of eBay. So anyways, let me go here to the video and show you how I did this collar, and you guys can let me know what you think about that. Okay, so make sure this is on in a place where you guys can see. I'm using a dark piece of fabric under here today just so you guys can clearly see what I'm doing. But all I've done so far is trace out the neckline of my Gina shirt. So that's the back, that's the front. You can change this neckline if you want to. I'm just going to use it as is. This line, I know you can't see this, there's a little crease in my paper right here. That's my shoulder line, and you are going to want that. You want the neckline of your garment to be about 1/8 of an inch higher so in here. Then the neckline of your collar. I've already cut my dress out, so what I'm going to do is remove 1/8 of an inch on the inside of my collar, which is like here. And I'm going to do that all the way around, obviously. So that's the collar, the neckline for our collar. And now you can sort of do whatever you want in terms of the shape of your collar. I think I am going to just make a 2-inch collar pretty much the whole way around. I'm going to measure it like this. Your center back is going to be on the straight grain, so make sure that this is a straight line right on that edge so that you don't get like a little point or a dimple there. Okay, so that's my new collar. And I'm pretty happy with that. The only thing is now, we've established this is the neckline, so it should have the same allowance as the shirt, whatever you're using there. You don't have a seam allowance on the outside edge though. For me, I'm just using 1/4 of an inch for my seam allowance. So I'm going to go ahead and mark this in. So the reason you want your neckline of your garment to be a little bit higher than the neckline of your collar is because that will cause, when you stretch that neckline to make the collar fit, that will cause the collar to roll over a little. And that's what you want. So it's not like flat against your body. It's actually got a little bit of a roll there at this garment edge. This line here that we said was our shoulder line. You're going to want to split this open. And then fold that over onto the other piece a teeny bit. I mean, mine is maybe, it's not quite 1/4 of an inch. It's about 1/8 of an inch or somewhere in between. And this also helps to lift the collar a little bit off of your shoulder so that it lays like this instead of like this. All right, guys, so my collar was looking a little puny. Oops. My collar was looking a little bit puny, so I just added an inch around the edge and tapered it down to nothing over here. Now we're just going to cut this out. This is the under collar. The main part of the collar, you're just going to cut out exactly as is. And you can use whatever seam allowance you want, but just remember what it is when you're sewing it together. Mine is 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so this is our under collar cut out. Now we want this to be about 1/8 of an inch shorter on the outside edge here. So again, when you put it on, it'll roll over towards the back a little bit, and I'm actually just going to eyeball that. It's not a lot. It's just shave off about 1/8, even 1/16 of an inch on that outside edge. Now, if you're going to use interfacing, the other part of this collar, the upper collar, is just going to get cut according to your pattern piece, and you're not going to do anything else to it. So you can go ahead and cut that out. If you're using interfacing, go ahead and do that. All right, guys, there you go. You can see that that was not that hard to draft a new collar pattern. A couple of issues. I think it came out really well. You can see in the pictures, I think the collar came out fine. There's a little bit of warping, waving around the outer edge of my collar. That is because I was smart enough to stay stitch the inside of my collar, but I should have also stay stitched the outside, and I did not do that. So, lesson learned. We'll do it next time. I actually don't mind. It looks fine. I found the Diane Ericson. This is actually Diane and Lois Ericson, I think. It's old. cuff pattern, and I'm thinking, I don't know, these are all pretty cool. So I don't know. I thought maybe, I don't know if you can see this one right here. It looks like a little tulip. Anyways, I think I'll play with that and see if I can't come up with a cuff for my Gina and see how I like that. I think that would be fun. I have plenty of both of those linens left. Not yardage, but enough, certainly enough for cuffs. So the way I did that collar, I think I've shown you guys this book before, and I'll try to leave a link to it down below in the information. This book has really good description, even if you don't want to really draft your own patterns. It's really good for doing things like that, like making your own collars or fixing other things. It's actually just really tons of information. This book actually has, it's kind of wordy, gives you reason, like how to do stuff and also why you're doing it. So if you're interested, this is a really good book. And if you are interested in fixing things like that collar, but you're not all that interested in the ins and outs of exactly why, this book is also pretty good. It's more visual, like the descriptions and stuff you can see. It's not terribly wordy. It's really mostly images and like how to do things via images. But this is also a pattern drafting book, but again, it's the same thing. It's really good for things like doing the collar, or if you wanted to add cuffs or change a neckline or whatever. I mean, this book is really easy to follow, and neither of these was terribly expensive. So if I can find links for those, I'll leave them for you below. And I think that is it for this week, you guys. Thank you again for stopping by. I really, really appreciate you spending time with me. If you've enjoyed this, please do hit subscribe and the thumbs up and whatever. Share, I don't know. Anyway, that's it for today, you guys. I hopefully will see you again next week.